All right, I'll try this for the third time. So this is a method I found online from somebody that was doing a freshwater setup. And I think he was bounding a piece of rock to a log or something, or a stick. So if you cut off the paper off of a cigarette roll or a cigarette filter, stick it in there, and what you can do is use some thin CA and soak it in. What'll happen is you'll get that chemical reaction that'll happen, and this thing will bond like super duper hard. A little bit more. Nice thing about this is once it's saturated, before it goes off, you can actually move it around a little bit. So this is just an old pick from Harbor Freight. And you can mold around the cotton a little bit if you want to make it look a little nicer. So we'll just give this a minute. And if lucky, I'll be able to catch the vapor coming off. And that's once the cotton is set, or once the reaction is complete. This will turn super, super hard. You can see it's still wet. So, but I don't have to hold it anymore. So I can just let it sit. And you can see the cotton in there. Saturated cotton. I'll just give it a minute. And if you're worried about, hey, I want to make sure that it's, I've got a gap on this side or wherever. So there's the other end of the cotton roll. And I can see if it's starting to set in there. But if I want to fill this gap, just take another one. I'll just shove it in there. I'll get it close. All right, and then if I have it close like that, and then I'll just saturate the whole thing up with CA, thin CA. Doesn't matter what kind, it's just thin CA. You can force it into joints. And what this will do, like I said, it will solidify. That one was a little tight, so, but it's coming off there, and I can put this chunk here. I don't want to get my hand on it and get CA all over my hands. Should be using gloves. Use gloves, proper protection, all that crap. All right. All right, you'll see here in a second, it will, hopefully, the cotton will go hard and it'll be just like a rock. I've used Marco sand or Marco rock powder in the past. You sprinkle it in and that will then cover it with thin CA and that'll make a bond. But this is messy stuff. I mean, it gets everywhere. This cotton, these cotton rolls, so cool because you don't have no mess. And it's cotton, so it's going to be inert in your system. I mean, my filter rolls and or filter floss, all that kind of stuff, it's all cotton. We use CA already, so I don't see any issues with having this in the tank. And like I said, I got the idea from a freshwater guy, and they've been doing it in the freshwater side for a while, but I've never seen anybody using it on Marco Rock. So I wanted to try it last night. It works so good. So I wanted to show you guys. All right, it's starting to harden up. And you saw I wasn't really doing anything. Like, this side is still a little bit wet. This side is hardening up. Last night I was getting this vapor that would come off. It was pretty intense, the fumes. So I don't know if it just takes a couple more minutes to have that vapor come out or not. But in the meantime, these rocks are stuck together. They are stuck. And it's only been, what, a couple minutes? I'm just gonna let that sit. And I'll let the video run in case we get that vapor after another minute or two. This is all going to get covered in coralline algae anyway, so it's going to, all your white rock's going to go natural anyway, so it's just going to cover this. Yeah, that's hard. But that piece that we did first, you can kind of see in there. I mean, it's in there. Like if I wanted to fill this little gap right here, I could just throw another piece of cotton in there. Maybe I'll take half of the roll this time. Just shove it in there. Little thin CA. Saturate it all up. And then force it in there. Fill that joint, kind of like mortar. This is just an old pick from Harbor Freight, but that's what I had. But this method is so dang cool, man. I am a huge fan, and I am not using powder or sand or any of that other stuff again. Like this is it. This is the cat's pajamas. And this will just take a couple minutes to harden up, and once it's hard, I mean, you won't even really know what it is. It just looks like a bond line. Almost looks like super glue. Not super glue, but like hot glue. Pretty cool. It does get warm. Obviously that exothermic reaction will happen with CA and like that powder or cotton, and it'll harden up. I don't really like to use activator on Marco rock. I just don't like the thought of activator sucking into the rock and soaking in. But I'm a fan. If you guys try it, let me know what you think. Or maybe I've been completely off my rocker and I just never know that people have been doing this in the past and have been doing it for years. So good luck, y'all.